Welcome. You're listening to the Best of Investing on Fox News Radio 910 a.m. This is the show where we present valuable information about real estate, the financial markets, and other economic business of the day. For those of you listening for the first time, here's our format. A few guys sitting around the bar having drinks without the drinks, talking business with you, the audience, listening in. I'm your host, Edward Brown, and I'm honored to have as my co-host Mark Hanf of Pacific Private Money, California's premier private lender, and Brian Burke of Praxis Capital. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Now write that number down, 888-912-1190, because you're going to use that number to answer the trivia questions for 3 vacations given away during each commercial break. That's right, we're giving away 9 vacations during this show. The vacations are sponsored by Lighthouse Resort and Marina, located 1 hour northeast of San Francisco. Now today's trivia theme is who made the hit? Famous career-ending hits in football. This ought to be fun since we have a bunch of rough and tumble guys around here. And the vacations are free. Their only request is a $75 cleaning fee to cover housekeeping expenses. Their website is lighthouseforfun.com. You can reach them at 916-777-5511. Our website is bestofinvesting.com. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. If you type in Best of Investing Radio Show, you'll see us on YouTube. And also, if you want to record our show in the future, go to a website called dar.fm and type in the Best of Investing, and you can listen at your leisure. One more reminder about World Wraps in Corte Madera and Santa Clara. They are still giving our listeners a free smoothie with purchase of a wrapper bowl if you mention the Best of Investing. Go there for lunch. They have the best wraps in town. Don't forget to mention Best of Investing for your free smoothie. In the second segment, we're going to be bringing on Neil Hennessy from Hennessy Funds. It's not too often we get a portfolio manager of a mutual fund on the show, so it should be exciting. Guys, let's just get right into it. Mark, what is going on with foreclosures?
Hey, Edward, great to be here this morning. You know, regular listeners to the show know that we do a lot of talking about real estate. I always spend a few minutes every week talking about the latest real estate news. And, you know, it's the end of the year, and we've been talking about since the very beginning of the year, of course, foreclosures have been a big topic of the year in real estate. But, you know, I want to point out something that I thought is kind of interesting in that, you know, just about every headline I read about when I read a blog online, always has a negative connotation about real estate. You know, you hear about the foreclosure crisis. That's a term that's often thrown around, and you know, in my opinion, I think that's that's a wrong way to look at it.
Okay, hold on, guys. Hold on to your seats. He's going to be giving us some good news. What's the good news, Mark?
Well, it's news. I don't know if it's good or bad. I mean, one of the things you asked me about foreclosures. Well, you know, those who were listening to us earlier in the year, you know, we were talking about at one time we were amazed at how foreclosures had gone up to 500 days at the beginning of the year. Well, it set a new record. The time to foreclose on property is now over 600 days. It's up to 631 days. It's set a new record.
I mean, that's basically. Almost 2 years?
That's almost 2 years. And that's followed by another article that suggests that the foreclosure, quote, crisis isn't even halfway over yet. And that's based on an analysis on a New York Times blog post. And but what's interesting is, you know, it's a crisis if you're losing your home, but you know, we're 4 years into this now, and an awful lot of people, you know, may or may not have lost their home by now, but you know, there's an awful lot of other people are looking at the foreclosure opportunities now. I mean, you're talking about home prices that are much more affordable. You're talking about opportunities to fix and
our
flip.
other co-host here, Brian Burke, he knows all about those foreclosures.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting, Mark, when you're talking about the time to foreclose, I would bet that the statistics that you're looking at are referring to the time from the notice of default is filed until the house is actually sold into foreclosure, right?
Yep, that's exactly right.
Yeah, so when you really think about the time to foreclose, how long did it take between the time that they stopped making their payments until the notice of default was filed? And that time frame has been going up as well. There's a lot of people out there that haven't even had a notice of default filed against them yet because the banks just are really taking their time to act on these foreclosures. They're kicking the can down the road, so to speak.
So if the foreclosure crisis, so to speak, isn't even halfway over, and we've been into this, since, well, they're basing it on, they're saying 3 million mortgages loaned between 2004 and 2008, or about 6% of all the mortgages that were made during that period have ended in foreclosure. And they're looking forward and saying nearly 4 million more home loans, or roughly 8% of those made from the same period, are at serious risk.
Wait a minute, I've been paying my mortgage faithfully for the last 2 years. Can I ask for a refund?
Yeah, probably not. They're probably not going to give you one. You know, Mark, I did a presentation a number of years ago. I think it was 3 years ago now. And I asked the room, and it was a pretty large room full of people who knew a lot about real estate, how many people think that the foreclosure crisis is halfway over? And about a third of the room raised their hand. And I said, well, how many people think that it's 3/4 of the way over? And even more people raised their hand than for the first question. And my argument to them was I felt that we were about 20% into it, and nobody believed me that was 3 years ago. And where are we now? I think you're right. I think we're about halfway, maybe 60% of the way through. I just think that we're going to start to see the rate ramp up over the next year or two, because the regulators won't let them just kick this can down the road forever.
Yeah, is it like a conveyor belt where they are still sitting with so much inventory themselves? They call it the shadow inventory. And
Well,
they
they
have to let
are.
that out.
Well, they are. And you know what Mark was alluding to at the time to foreclose being over 600 days. If they file a notice of trustee sale, which is the final document recorded that sets the auction date for the house, they can postpone that sale repeatedly, but only for 365 days. Then they have to file a new notice of sale. So if it's taking that long, they actually have to process the paperwork more than once, and that's really contributing to their workload. And they don't have a lot of staff to be able to absorb that type of workload.
That's where the robo-signing comes in.
That's exactly what started
But
it.
the whole point of this is really who's this bad news for? Really, I mean, if this is a show for investors, and now we're talking about real estate as an investment, I don't look at these headlines as bad news at all. I like a stable market, and stable to me is one, flat, maybe it goes down slightly, maybe it goes up slightly, maybe it's flat. I mean, we've had probably one of the more predictable years in real estate, in my opinion. I mean, remember at the beginning of the year, the smart money was betting on real estate prices will be down about 5 to 8%. Well,
That's
they're
right.
saying now for the year they're down on average in California about what 6 to 7%.
Yeah, and in some markets even a little bit more. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So we all got fat, dumb, and happy by assuming real estate always goes up in value.
So you've got a market that's relatively predictable right now. I think a lot more predictable today than it was in 2005 and 6 when the market was just out of control. And you've got, as a real estate, as a potential real estate investor, you get to look forward to a lot of new opportunities to buy homes at distressed prices, which I think create incredible opportunity for fix and flippers or people collecting real estate for rental income into the foreseeable future. I mean,
Well, when
maybe
was the
for
last
another
time you
5
saw
years.
this much rent on that low of a purchase price? When have you ever seen that before? I've
Never
seen
in California.
No.
It's
So
still.
you're saying now's the time to start accumulating the real estate?
But yeah, I believe so, and we're putting our money where our mouth is. That's exactly what we're doing.
Absolutely, and at Pacific Private Money, we're making loans to real estate investors who are snapping up property as quickly as they can raise the equity portion to do so and borrow 65% of the purchase price.
And at
from
the end of the
companies like
day,
us.
that's contributing to the housing recovery. I mean, ultimately, these underwater houses have to process through the foreclosure pipeline in order for a healthy recovery to take place. And that seems to be where we're finally getting to. And is it bad news for the homeowners? Well, certainly it's bad news for someone who's losing their house, although it might not be the worst news when they just got to live there for 2 years
years
without
free.
paying any housing
Yep,
payments, and
yep.
they were able to catch up on their credit card bills. They caught up on their car payments. They saved up a little bit of
Wait,
money.
wait. How many people are not paying their mortgage payment and saving that money and paying their credit cards?
You'd be surprised. In fact, we go out and we look at all these houses that are going to foreclosure auction. You'd be surprised how many houses we drive by that are going to auction the following week that have cars in the driveway with dealer plates on them because they went and bought the new cars right before the foreclosure. And the 60.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm talking about like old credit card bills.
Yeah, who would think, right?
Yeah, who would think? Okay, guys, we're gonna have to go to a break. When we come back, we are gonna introduce Neil Hennessy, who is the main man when it comes to mutual funds, and we'll also talk about some other economic news of the day. So here is our first commercial break. Here is our first trivia question. Remember, it's hit. Who made the hit is the category. Joe Theismann suffered a career-ending compound fracture by this Hall of Fame linebacker from the New York Giants. Who made the hit? The first 3 callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Their website, lighthouse4fun.com. Call 888-912-1190. That's 888-912-1190 to answer this question. Joe Theismann suffered a career-ending compound fracture by this Hall of Fame linebacker from the New York Giants. Who made the hit? As I remember, it happened on Monday Night Football, and it was a little gruesome.
Yeah, it was.
It was. 888-912-1190. Make sure to include your name, address, email address, and phone number, and we will be right back.